Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Evolution, the series where we dive through the history of Call of Duty, looking at something that's been there for a while and has generally come to be in a most recent Call of Duty game. Today we are looking at something that has recently been added to Black Ops 4, and specifically Blackout, and that would be the Evolution of Standoff or Outlaw, depending on which Call of Duty was your first Call of Duty game. So what we're going to do in this video is start off by looking at every single one of the maps, the story behind them, and that kind of stuff. After that, we are going to dive into the Easter eggs of every single map, and then we are going to finish off with a complete comparison of all three maps. What looks the same, what looks different, and what is completely different between all three maps. Now, before we dive into the Evolution of Standoff, I just wanted to let you guys know about my live stream. It'll be the first link down in the description. And on my live stream, I always do open lobbies, which means you guys actually get the opportunity to play some Black Ops 4 with me. So if you want to play some Black Ops 4 with me, or you just want to check out the live stream, like I said, it'll be the first link down in the description, and hopefully I see you there later tonight. So to start things off, we'll start where this began, in Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2 was the first Call of Duty game where Standoff was introduced, and it was actually a map that was in the base game. It wasn't a DLC map, and the essential backstory of this map is it's right on the border of China and Kyrgyzstan. So you would assume that the two armies fighting here would be the Soviet Union and China. However, the Chinese army in Black Ops 2 was called the SDC, or Strategic Defense Coalition. However, that's not the case. The two armies fighting on this map are SEAL Team 6 and the Mercs, aka the Americans versus Raul Menendez, essentially. Now, as far as Standoff goes, there's not a lot of Easter eggs. The main one, though, is if you go around the map, there's whiteboards hanging all over the map, and on all of the whiteboards, there are sticky notes that say zombies are coming. No one really knows why it was here or why this Easter egg took place, but that's what the developers decided to do. Now, the one other thing that remains consistent throughout all three maps is that back to the one section of the map, there is a graveyard on every single map, even going as far as in the Outlaw versions, there's also a church. Now, in the gravestones in Standoff in Black Ops 2, all of the gravestones say 1900 to 1960, which is odd because Black Ops 2 takes place in 2025, which is 65 years off of these latest gravestones. Moving on to Black Ops 3, Outlaw was the map that was a recreation of Standoff. Now, this map almost has identical sight lines to that of Standoff, but looks incredibly different. Now, this map was implemented in DLC 4 of Black Ops 3, aka the Salvation DLC. Now, if you guys didn't already know, Black Ops 3's multiplayer takes place in a simulation, which means they could put maps at any time, anywhere, pretty much do anything with them that they wanted. And because of this, we got some really ridiculous maps like Micro. You are shrunk down and playing amongst a picnic on a picnic table. Similar to this, there was Outlaw. It was designed after Standoff, however, took place in the 1800s in the Wild West, if you will. Now, this map is actually full of Easter eggs, and I'm not going to go into all of them, but we're going to look at some of the bigger ones. Starting off with, remember how we talked about this map is in the past, it takes place in olden days? Well, on one side of the map, inside of the barn, you can actually see a flux capacitor from the movie Back to the Future sitting in the corner, hence the whole time travel vibe of this map. Another interesting one is in the main building of this map. If you go, you can see a bunch of poker tables, roulette tables, that kind of thing, and on them are chips, but not just any chips, they're actually playable COD points. You can see a value on them, whether it's 5, 150, and then COD imprinted underneath that number, which I thought was pretty interesting. On top of that, in the same room, there's also a player piano that just so happens to be playing the exact same song that plays on the piano in the Zombies map, Buried, which is interesting because, as we know, in Blackout, Buried was put underneath Outlaw on the Blackout map. And then finally, if you go around the map and look at certain clocks that are hanging on the map, all of them display the time 1:15, aka 115, the zombies element. Now, this one's interesting because if you actually go back to Standoff in Black Ops 2, and have a look at the clocks there, they have a different story to tell. You may notice that their hour sign is at the 9, the second sign is at the 3, and the minute sign is at the 5, aka the zombies group 935. Now, unfortunately, the clocks in Ghost Town, aka Outlaw, and Blackout don't follow this same pattern. In fact, there really isn't a ton of Easter eggs at all in this map. However, the map is extremely similar, almost identical to that of Outlaw in Black Ops 3. Almost all of the buildings look the same, as we're going to see when we directly compare all three maps. Now, as far as Ghost Town or Outlaw and Blackout is concerned, it's very similar to that of Black Ops 3, however, looks a little bit more disheveled and broken down than it did in Black Ops 3. The other difference, of course, is that there are many more rooms available, as you are actually able to open doors in Blackout, where you are not able to do that in multiplayer. Now, the only Easter egg that really carries over into Ghost Town is the COD points as poker chips. Once again, if we go to the same table, we can see the exact same poker chips are still there, aka the COD points. Now, to me, where this gets really interesting is when we actually compare the aesthetic of the different maps. You can really see what changed, what stayed the same, and to be honest, there's a pretty big difference aesthetically, Black Ops 2 compared to Black Ops 3 and 4. So the first building I wanted to start out with was the gas station from Black Ops 2. This back building is a relatively small building that used to be a gas station, but was drastically changed in Black Ops 3. In which they changed the gas station into a stable, which we talked about before housed the Back to the Future Easter egg. This building is much bigger in Black Ops 3, but really serves the same purpose. And in Black Ops 4, the stable essentially looks exactly the same as Black Ops 3, however, a little bit more disheveled, as we mentioned before. After this, we have the main building in the middle of the map, which actually maintains the same shape throughout all of the recreations, which, as you can see in Outlaw, actually looks a little bit nicer, kind of more like a state building back from the 1800s, which once again in Black Ops 4 looks almost identical to that of Black Ops 3. Now, the one thing that is the same in all three games is the layout of this middle building. Every single one of them has the two-room basement, followed up by the stairs that take you to the upper area. Every single one of the games has this exact same layout. However, one thing that's different in all three games is the style of the interior of the buildings. Yes, in both Black Ops 3 and 4, it's a Western, but one thing you'll notice is that in Black Ops 2 and 3, there's a lot more knickknacks, pictures hanging on the walls, furniture, in the multiplayer map as opposed to the Blackout map. And that's something that's consistent with most of the Blackout recreation areas, is that there's a lot less detail than the actual multiplayer maps. Now, the one other thing that is different in Blackout is in the upstairs area, there is an extra bedroom that isn't there in the multiplayer maps, and in the under area, there is actually an entrance to the buried part of the Ghost Town Blackout area. The next building we're going to look at is the two-story building off to the one side of the map. As you can see in Standoff, this is a very disheveled building, even going as far as having graffiti on some of the windows. Now, in Black Ops 3, this is known as the Aces High Saloon, and it's exactly that. It's a saloon-style building that's painted blue. Now, this building is almost identical in Black Ops 4 Blackout, however, once again, looks a little bit older, some of the paint's worn off, and the inside of the building is very different. Now, the layout in Black Ops 2 and 3 were almost identical. However, the scenery in Black Ops 2, the downstairs was almost like a convenience store, whereas the upstairs was almost like a storage area, rather empty, but as I mentioned, both have the exact same layout. However, as we mentioned, in Black Ops 3, this is a saloon, so down in the under area, there is poker tables, roulette tables, even a bar, but once again, the upstairs has the exact same style as that Black Ops 2 building. Now, this is actually one of the buildings in Blackout that's incredibly different. Now, once again, the under area is the same style saloon with the roulette tables and bar that we saw in Black Ops 3. However, once you go upstairs, it is very different. There are many more rooms with broken down beds in them. That same style of hallway is once again still there. However, the addition of rooms makes this feel completely different. Now, out to the back of this building, there is the broken down shed. This is an area that remains extremely similar throughout all three games. It's just a small room with a roof on it. In Black Ops 3, this became the wagon repair building, and exact same style and size as Black Ops 2, but a different scenery. Similarly, in Black Ops 4, we have the exact same building, exact same size, and basically accomplishes the exact same tasks. After this, we have the buildings on the main strip, which in Black Ops 2 were relatively simple, just a small building, nothing really to it. Now, in Black Ops 3, these became name buildings, for example, like the Western Range Telegraph. However, they were not buildings you could actually enter and go into. Now, Now in Blackout, these buildings remain the same names, the same style, the same color. Of course, the main difference is, in this game, you could actually go right into the buildings, see inside them, and actually get loot from there, which is of course a very large addition to this map. Now the final building we're going to look at here is the main house. This house is probably one of the biggest features on the map, and it is exactly that, just a house. Now, throughout the 3 games, the layout of this house with the roof that you could get onto stayed exactly the same, which remained true in Blackout. However, the main difference is the outside color actually changed. In Black Ops 3, it was red. However, in Blackout, it is like this teal kind of color, which is odd because this is the only building between Black Ops 3 and 4 that actually changed its color. And even the inside of this building remained relatively similar. In Black Ops 2, you had a bedroom upstairs and then a kitchen downstairs. Whereas in Black Ops 3 and 4, you had the same bedroom with the same hallway upstairs. However, downstairs was more of a bar, which once again remained true in Black Ops 4. It was the exact same layout. Like I said, the only thing that changed was that outside color. Now, one thing that remained true through all 3 games is that out behind this building, there was this little covered area with hay inside it. Now, in all 3 games, for some reason, to me, this looks like a bus stop, but in all 3 games, it's exactly the same. It's just filled with hay. Now, the final thing to look at is the background of the map. In Black Ops 2, this was kind of like a train station, but nothing really moved back there. Whereas in Black Ops 3, there was once again trains, but this time they actually went through the town, sometimes a couple times a game, depending on what game mode you were playing and how long you were playing on the map for. Whereas in Black Ops 4, there is no train, but rather just empty train tracks. Part of me wonders whether they are still planning on putting a train onto this map or not. I had that theory a couple weeks ago, but we still haven't seen anything like that, but who knows, maybe in the future. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the evolution of Standoff or Outlaw, whatever you want to call it, through Black Ops 2, 3, and of course, Blackout. Let me know down in the comments which one of the 3 maps was your personal favorite or which one you liked the most. And on top of that, if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more like it, there's definitely more maps I could do this with, like Raid, for example, that's also in Blackout. So if you enjoy this kind of thing and want to see more, just simply hit that like button to show me you enjoyed. And finally, if you're new to the channel and like what you see, the best way to stay up to date on all of my videos is make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you have notifications turned on. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars.